Do your own research and due diligence before investing in any company. The information I provide is in no way or manner a professional suggestion to purchase shares in any publicly traded company. I am not licensed to provide financial advice, and this should be considered entertainment. These stock profiles are intended to be trading ideas, a starting point for research. Any individual who chooses to invest in any securities should do so with caution. Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk. You may lose some or all the money that is invested. Always research your own investments and consider consulting with a registered investment advisor or a licensed stockbroker before investing. Yes, yes, yes. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's your boy Sal, man, Stock Talk. And thank you for joining me here on the show. In fact, one of the things I want to talk about today is I need like a name for the show. I need a name for the show. I've thought about a whole bunch of different names. I just can't come up with something. So if you guys can come up with a good name, email me at happypennystocks@gmail.com, because I'm trying to, like make this eventually like a very serious kind of thing. So I'm getting started on a business plan and I don't have a fucking name. So yeah, if you guys can help me out with that, let me know. Episode 82, and today was all about oil stocks. It was all about oil stocks today, ladies and gentlemen, and they rallied really, really heavy today. And sure enough, it's caught the eye of the major markets, and they believe that oil could be the next big beneficiary of our new president, Donald Trump. All right, and then his boon for the stock market. A lot of people are really excited about this guy. Again, we all have our feelings about him, but at the end of the day, it's about this money. Okay, it's about this money, and so far, people are really excited. I'm gonna get to the money. Okay, I'm gonna get to the money. We're gonna take business of all the rest of the stuff later. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me here. And for the next 2 hours, we're gonna talk about my favorite thing, penny stocks. All right, stocks under $10 an hour, because I believe they give you the best bang for your buck. All right, episode 81. Let's go ahead and get started on the show. And again, all the new people, old people, thank you for joining me. Stock Diva, Barry Parker, Tyson Batts, Bat Scientist, I think you were in here first. Hank, Three Hooks, what's good, Three Hooks? Many Stay Woke, what's going on? Yes, indeed. Q de Mayo, Barry Parker, always here on time. What's going on, Joel Flores? Beautiful, Miss Petaway. How are you today, ma'am? Who else is in here? I think Travis probably in here hiding somewhere. Juan Diaz, what's good? Yes, indeed. Bruce Cole, what's good, man? Jamal Lewis, yes, indeed. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, exactly. Trump is about that money. He don't give a fuck about none of these people. Y'all going harder for Trump than he's going for y'all. He ain't even did shit for y'all yet. You know what I'm saying? You got people out here putting their lives on the line for Trump. He ain't did a damn thing. They gonna find out, though. He all about that money. Ain't about you. Game recognized game when it comes to Donald Trump. Yes, indeed. Dayon Jackson, what's good, man? Anika Chisholm, hello. Thank you for joining us. Royal Lion, Trading Jedi, what's good, man? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And sure enough, on the Market Watch page, the first thing, the big headline on the page right now is that energy may be the next stock sector lifted by the Trump trade, okay? And sure enough, on the screen right now, I actually have the bullish reversal pattern that's being showed, evidenced by the Spider Energy Select Exchange Traded Fund, which is XLE. Now, this fund, as you see on the screen, is used to determine where oil prices are. And as we can see here, this is a one-year chart where pretty much at a significant reversal pattern as we were here. This is January 1st, 2015, and you can see where we are now. We're practically sitting on that line. We are sitting on that line and getting ready for launch, or really honestly getting ready for takeoff when it comes to oil stocks, energy stocks. And we've got a few stocks to discuss today we'll get into. Other than that, of course, you guys, I'm sure, have some stocks today that rallied that we can talk about. But overall, we know that energy is going to be the next big thing. Based on what ran today. I mean, if you can see here, obviously we did have a few pharmaceutical companies that led the way today, started by RXII, which was just, again, another insane play that we've talked about here on the show. RXII, but I mean, absolutely beautiful move to start the day. You know, this was a situation. Let me see here. In fact, it started at the 21st. You really, besides what was going on last week, with the move today, a 97% move that kind of happened pretty much, as soon as the bell rang. If you were able to make some money in the stock, let me know, because I don't see how based on the chart. I didn't play it, but again, a beautiful move, because this is a stock we've talked about here on the show. I never saw it as a buy, but whatever happened today drove the price a lot higher. But does it have another day of running? Somebody else let me know, because I do know we got people in here who are looking at the stock as well. So we'll see what happens with RXII. But that was number 2 today on the NASDAQ biggest gainers list. OPXA was number 1. OPXA, again, another dirt cheap penny stock that I do believe this is on Robinhood. I do believe this is on Robinhood, and I know it's on Stock-Trade, but I do believe this is on Robinhood. I know it was incredibly volatile today, but this is another stock that people got an opportunity to play in, and that's why I say the pennies run everything. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. If you honestly want to be able to make some quick money, obviously it takes a lot of skill to do it consistently, but the odds are in your favor if you want to make some quick money. Penny stocks is preferably the way to be it, to find it and to make that money. All right, so both of them, dirt cheap penny stocks, both of them under $2 a share. We're under $2 a share. RXII passed that today at $2.57 now. But again, these were both dollar stocks that were out there. CHNR continued another great day today. CHNR was a huge runner last week. Continued that run today, 60%. Got some people caught up there in the morning after an incredible gain from last week, but sure enough, straightened some things out towards the end of the day there. Ended at 357 for a 53% gain. And this is a stock that, again, running on, flames, basically. Just, it's a China natural resources play. And, this looks like another, fruit juice situation, another SPU. But, look, you can't complain when these stocks are putting up numbers like this. 53%. I can't complain about them anymore, because at the end of the day, real money's being made. And, who can shit on that? Who can shit on that? All right. Ryan gets it. A call. In fact, I think, Ryan, you hit me up about A call. I think you had hit me up about A call. Now, I'm still not happy with the volume. I'm honestly still not happy with the volume. I understand it has been running. But I'd like to see it do more. I'd like to see it do a lot more than what it's doing right now. But A call, ACOL, is another 00 digit winner that's running right now in the OTC markets. And shout out to the people behind that are pushing A call, because obviously we know stocks in the OTC markets, unless they're legit companies, they're not pushing themselves, okay? They're not pushing themselves. But this is a winner so far. A call with about 30% gain today on the stock is a 0051, and the trend's been pretty nice in the stock. This is the 1 month there on your screen. It looks like it just kind of started moving. And if you want, Ryan, if you want to let us know what's the catalyst, I know you called in last week. If you got any new updates on A call and the catalyst moving here. I didn't like the sell off towards the end of the day there. That was a little bit of a, kind of like, what was up with that? But again, I'd love to see a lot more volume in the stock, and I don't mind buying higher if that means more people are going to jump in. I don't mind buying higher if more people are going to jump in. I would just hate to jump in now and knowing that I'm at the top of any volume. All right. Yes, indeed. Okay. That's the thing, and I can't tell. That I can't tell. Locker room talked about it, whether or not it's a legit play or not. We'd have to go into the financials again. Most of these OTC companies, whether or not they're legit or not, you have to actually look into the stock in terms of the financials, see if there are any actual ongoing operations. If they are, then you
What's
can
going
some kind
on?
of say legit. 541. What's up? You're on the air.
What's going on, Sal? This is Ryan Gitzik right here.
Hey Ryan, what's going on? I'm guessing you're calling to talk about a call.
Yeah, my man. A call is going good, guys. I know if you guys got as many shares as me, hold on, guys. Okay, I know it's doing great, but just hold on. I know the number's going to go up. I know it's going to pull back a little bit, but let's let the ink dry on the paper first.
Now this
Try
is
to hold on to after January 1st.
good winner. You called about this last week. Now tell us a little bit about the company and what exactly they're in business doing.
Well, ACOL does medication containers and grinders. So, like the containers there, and plus, how would you say, hospitals? Even hospitals buy them, and that's the big money right there. And plus, they tag team with a company called Kush Bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So ACOL and a company called Kush Bottles has partnered up. So, guys, I know it's going to pull back. It might go up tomorrow. Just hold on, okay? After January 1st, it's up to you. It's your money, but me, personally, I'm holding on until after January 1st. I'm going to let that ink dry, and we'll see where it goes from there.
There it is. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, that's Ryan. He's been a big fan now, almost a week and a half of a call. And look, I mean, for 5 days here, look at the charts. Not been too bad. Again, that sell-off a little bit towards the end of the day concerns me, but I want to see what happens with the stock tomorrow. ACOL is the ticker, 30% today. Not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. So a medicine kind of container company, and I believe they got some good contracts too under their belt too. If I didn't see in an article way back when. All right. Real quick, I want to talk to you guys about a $15,000 promotion that's going to be ongoing on the next 2 days for one ticker symbol by the name of PKPL. PKPL Park Place. It's by well, I don't know if the promoter wants me to let you know who it is, but I can already let you guys know it's going to be ran for the next 2 days. PKPL. I want to say it's today and tomorrow. So just watch that, see what that does. PKPL. Variable results from them in the past. They've had some stocks that have really just knocked it out the park. Some of them, haven't. So, but I would watch PKPL over the next week. Although it is a 2-day thing, I'm not sure if they've done anything where it's got some long-lasting effect towards the end. Maybe some mailers or whatnot that have gone out. I'm not sure. But PKPL should be in play either tomorrow or the next day pretty aggressively. PKPL. Yes, indeed. All right. What else are you guys looking at? AMDA. You said if they're NASDAQ, well, most promotions are always going to be OTC. They're always typically going to be OTC. AMDA, Medical Devices Implant Company, 23% today, 20 cents moving today. And I'm not sure what, again, this is another situation where what drove the stock is not easily found here, because as I try to do the research real quick on AMDA, I do see an article here on CNA Finance. Let's see what drove the stock higher today. What was that pulled up here? It's having an incredibly strong day. Let's see, it's clear. Let's see here. Okay, the company did not release any press release or any other fundamental news that I found, in any type of exciting. But the FDA updated its website to show that the company has received a 510K FDA approval. So the company has not put out any information on that yet, but the FDA website does show that. The FDA does show that, and it looks like the 10K form or approval has to do with an approval based on a device. All right, it's a pre-marketing submission form that is used to demonstrate that the device is going to be marketed as some kind of medicinal device. So they got some kind of preliminary approval, but AMDA has not sent out that press release specifying what, where, and why they got that approval. So obviously these are some investors who were following very, very closely, because you got to have to go to the FDA website to get this information. Sure enough, they jumped on it. It looks like pre-move. So that information eventually will have to come out. So it looks like they're in it for the bump higher when that does come. But nice chart by AMDA, slowly moving higher. It's been a nice slow gainer, but not bad. Not bad for AMDA. This was a stock that a while ago, almost was practically a joke for a while. It's, barely had any movement, but it's been a decent month for AMDA. Finally seeing some movement here after earnings, which weren't necessarily the best as well, but good for that stock, AMDA. All right. It's so funny. We talked about marijuana last week, and I think we may have gotten some confirmation today that marijuana might be going bearish. MJNA, for all intents and purposes, I've always believed MJNA was the segment leader. That's really the leader of the pack, and to see the stock go down 12% today, 10% typically is my okay, something's going wrong here, and 12.5% today on MJNA is a loss. Again, when we see these at the OTC level, look, we know that these losses can be made back in a couple minutes with some good news. But what's the news moving forward in marijuana? And we don't know what that is. I think now it's about separating the good and the bad and what's going to work long term, and who are going to be the ones to take advantage. And I've said this a couple of times, who are going to be the ones to take advantage of these new markets. But all in all, these stocks have moved quite aggressively over the last couple of weeks. And, now we've got some people who are looking to move on to different things. And we could be looking at a very bearish situation in MJNA moving forward. Okay. I had someone bring up an email when they talked about MSTX. MSTX was a stock that we've talked about here on this show quite a bit. This was this summer a stock for us that there was some high hopes on after September. The company had failed a drug that was, some would say, already destined to fail, depending on who you ask. But there were some individuals here in the chat room who were all over MSTX. The stock gained quite a bit, almost 50% in a matter of week and a half. Sure enough, the drug failed and the stock collapsed. And we haven't seen any kind of rebound in MSTX recently until today. MSTX 30%, damn near 30% today on the market. What's exciting on MSTX? Well, a strategic update on whether or not the company is either going to go out of business or they're going to try this again. And I think that was news that the investors were really waiting for. They were really waiting for MSTX to come out and say, okay, look, our last drug failed, but we're not giving up. And I think, if you read that strategic update, the company came out and said, look, we're not dead yet. We're coming back. We've got some exciting things. And I think their investors like that. And those of, people who liked it continue to buy more of the stock. Looking to get in big. MSTX, back on the map with that 30% move. We'll see what happens tomorrow, or whether this was just a one-day little drop in the bucket. Kuzi Q, Royal Line is really interesting that you brought this up. I mean, this is a company that has came out and said, we're done. This is a company that's came out and said, we're done. So I'm honest to find out why some people still want to buy the stock, because they've said that, look, we want to sell parts of the company. So why are people buying COSIQ? I don't know. Obviously, the company practically did nothing today, if I'm correct. Kuzi pretty much did nothing, but it had some movement, and it's still has some moves. It still does things during the day. So, I don't know what's continuing to move this stock, but obviously some people still like it, and they're going to keep buying it, and it is what it is. All right, it is what it is. All right. Yes, I did see you say that AMDA trading, trading Jedi, excuse me. Yeah, AMDA has had some major moves in the past, and as well as major issues in the past. But they are a company that has ran pretty aggressively in the past, so I would watch that. I would watch that because they do have a tendency to spike as well. Somebody said they took a crap today on Cara, Cara. Yeah, very ugly day for the stock. Obviously, this is something that you probably could have mapped out as you watch the support levels fall, and fall. But that stock taking a pretty big dump. 5% loss, 68 cents off the price today. All right, 68% off the price today. One of a consistent winner, and again, if gas prices and natural gas continues to hold, CHK, this was one that I was following today on the market. I thought it would run a little bit more. We got up to the 640s, but held up there. So it was really nice to see CHK. This is one I was following today and posted a little bit about on Twitter. And I knew after that, passing 608, I was like, okay, this is back. This is back. And sure enough, we got over 608 today. This is a stock that you guys know I was watching last week. And after we got over 608, I know this is going to the moon. And CHK, now we can seriously be talking $7, $8, maybe $9 down the road. But CHK, let's see. Hopefully there's no pullback moving forward. But as long as natural gas continues to rise, in fact, where is natural gas right now? Natural gas. All right, so natural gas is still up right now, even as we know that runs pretty much all day, all night. We're at 298 right now on natural gas, so still positive, still very positive, still a buy on natural gas. And CHK, biggest beneficiary of high natural gas prices, again passing that 608. I knew that 608 was that level, and sure enough, it's been confirmed by every resistance point I labeled on my chart. 550, 565, 589. It found support and passed every single resistance level. Sure enough, 608, it's off to running on CHK. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with CHK, but I really love that move. I'm going long there on CHK. All right, hoping to God there's no pullback, but I like the stock moving forward as really bullish right now on natural gas, as well as oil as well. We got some oil stocks to look into as well. Real quick, in fact, let's get into one right now. BBEPQ. Again, I know most of you guys aren't the biggest fan of the Qs, but this is a stock that, again, I really like. BBEPQ, after it gets over that 39 level, is looking to retest it because this is the price where it tried to find some support to hang on top of it way back when. Today actually tried to find some support, but it didn't hold. And 39.96 or 0.3996, all right, is that support level. 39, it has to hold 39 for it to be real to me. I just honestly believe that. In fact, when I look at let's look at the 3-month chart, that 39 support level was very powerful. Very powerful. Last month, just a month ago, the stock found that to be a very powerful support level. It broke it, unfortunately, tried to retest it end of last month, didn't hold, and again, it's having trouble breaking 39. And until BBEPQ breaks 39 and holds 39, I'm not touching that. I'm not going to touch it at all. But I really like BBEPQ, and I'm watching it because it is a stock that can move aggressively once it's in the clear. All right? Once it's in the clear. Static Volt, GGB. GGB, wow, very aggressive move there on GGB. GGB, I do remember this is the, if I'm correct, this is the Brazilian steel play. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure Static Volt, this is the Brazilian steel play This was a big beneficiary of, let me see, let me correct myself, make sure that's right, because I believe this is the Brazil company, right? Yes, this is the Brazil company. Okay, yeah, this is the Brazil company. Now, this is a situation where they were a big beneficiary coming out of the Olympics. Obviously, the Brazilian government had paid this company literally hundreds of millions of dollars to get ready for the Olympics. And if I remember correctly, if I looked at the year-to-date chart, we saw some really aggressive movement there in the summer, and it's held. I mean, it really caught the market's attention, and it's held since then. And sure enough, you've pretty much doubled your money. In fact, you've doubled your money today since June. It's been exactly a 100% move since June in the stock. If you held GGB, a few red days, but for mostly very consistent move. I mean, very, very consistent move. We were taking a look at the stock earlier, this summer. See some marks that I left back behind there, but not bad. Not bad for GGB. Now, what's moving the stock now? It's my guess. This was a company that was involved in a lot of issues this summer, along with the whole Olympics hype, because supposedly the company had some tax evasion issues in Brazil, and the state was going, or the country was going after the company, and blah blah blah. I guess it made it through whatever those issues were, and sure enough, not bad over the last 6 months in GGB. So something to go long in. Looks like something to go long in. And it's at a breakout level if you spread the chart out. If you look at, what is this, I think this is a 1-year chart. If you look at July, it looks like it could be breaking out here really nicely in GGB. So if this is your cup of tea looking to go long, looks like you got a lot of air up there to be a part of this. All right, GGB, yeah, full beast mode. In GGB. All right, not bad. This is definitely a stock that you're not going to gain insane amount of money, but at $4 a share you can grab a ton of shares, and if you're patient, this might be something. But you got to be patient. I mean, that's the key word here. This is a $6 billion company. You're not going to double your money overnight, unless of course they get bought out, because the premium would be insane on a company like this. But we'll see what would happen. We'll see what would happen. All right. What's going on with Sky People Fruit Juice? We just got done talking about Sky People Fruit Juice. There's this Sky People Fruit Juice, man. The NASDAQ's trying to get them off, okay? They're trying to get delisted. The NASDAQ wants them off, okay? Because the moves have been just so aggressive and unexplainable, right? There's no real legit reason for NASDAQ to kick them off. All right, they're having issues doing that. So there's, it's just, imagine that guy in school you didn't like to be around, but for whatever reason, you keep ending up in a damn group project with him. You keep ending up on a damn team with him. You keep ending up in a damn class with him. That's what Sky People Fruit Juice is to the heads of NASDAQ. It's just a headache that people don't understand why it runs, why it's doing what it's doing. For the most part, it's a stock that shouldn't be even priced where it is now, but let alone, it spikes and crashes and spikes and crashes, and it is what it is. It is what it is. 4% on the market today, but the fact of the matter is it got to as high as $8.88. It got to as high as $8.88. On what news? On what news? I don't know. Bill Betts is saying that the company could be delisted, but the thing about it is, like, for what? For what? Why would it be delisted? And the basic reason that NASDAQ is going after them is that they don't understand why the stock's running. There's no information. All right, just a bunch of Chinese investors who are just going ham over the stock. But if the stock doesn't get delisted, they're just working against their own concerns, because that's going to send the stock soaring if SPU doesn't get delisted. So Sky People Fruit Juice looks like, let me see the bands. The bands are tightening up on Sky People Fruit Juice again. Looks like could be doing something moving forward. But Sky People Fruit Juice, that's 665 I labeled here because 665 is the liftoff level for it. And sure enough, Sky People Fruit Juice had took off on that 665 exactly. And I labeled here this last, I think maybe a week or a half ago. But that's the price for Sky People Fruit Juice. It's over it now. So it's perfect timing for SPU to really make a big, powerful move in the stock. But Sky People Fruit Juice, just be careful. This is not a stock you want to buy too high because you might not ever get back up there or be joined up there again. Rex Energy Corporation, 8% gain today. Again, probably another beneficiary of high oil prices. Again, I wouldn't say high, but steadily increasing oil prices. Okay, I wouldn't call them high because a lot of people will tell you these aren't high enough. 48.70 right now. Oil is still up. A lot of people say, what's the difference between Brent and crude? Somebody in the chat room, you can tell me, but all I know is they preferably stocks move on aggressive crude oil prices instead of Brent. If anybody in the chat room, call me up and let the people in the chat room as well as myself know the difference between Brent oil and crude oil. I'm sure some of you guys can let me know on that. I'm not too familiar on the big differences there, but I do know stocks move aggressively on high crude oil prices, and that's what I look for in those movements. All right. Rex Oil, 8% move today on that company stock. And again, when oil prices stay high, you want to be long these small, financially not necessarily struggling, but these companies that need higher oil prices because it really matters and makes a difference to the bottom line. So you definitely want to be in these stocks that that are kind of have taken a beating over the last couple months on really low. And as you can see here, if you looked at the price of oil since about June, they've taken an aggressive beating, and REXX was definitely a victim of that, as you can see here throughout the summer. Very, very, very challenged, bearish momentum in the stock. And this nice little day today, but we'll see. And again, I showed you guys that what was that chart again? I showed you guys the Spider Energy Select ETF, which is ticker XLE, blah, blah, blah. XLE, the Spider Energy Select ETF. And that right now is at a breakout price. As long as that continues to stay higher and still looking good, we should see stocks like REXX move higher. So watch these prices closely. All right. And we got the confirmation today in the United States Oil Fund. That ticker is USO. Of course, this is a stock, again, you can buy as well as buy options on this as well. So I saw the $10 literally double today. I mean, it was just absolutely insane on the going on the longs here, on the calls on USO. 1077.45 cents today, gained 4% move on that. So we'll see. We'll see if this is a long-term serious move by the stock, but it was really nice to see the stock really recover on USO after a couple of days of some bearish action there. I got to some tops here. It's almost been a month of bearish action in USO. So hopefully this turnaround is real. Okay. Let's see. All right. Trading Jedi say a lot of debt. Yeah, a lot of debt. But you got to remember, these companies like Rex do have a lot of debt. And again, a lot of these companies that trade for pennies on the dollar have a ton of debt. But on these commodity affiliated or commodity based plays, their business lives and breathes on high or profitable oil price. Doesn't even have to be high. It has to be at a point where it's profitable for them. And the higher it goes, obviously, the more profitable their business is. So they're going to be able to pay off that debt with high oil prices, and they're not going to be able to if prices don't maintain high. All right. So it's going to be a good thing for Rex, and as long as it continues to stay higher right now, We're still in the green. Oil up almost 0.5% right now after hours. So we'll see. Continue to watch those prices. That's really the lifeblood of these runs. The lifeblood on these runs. IMUC IMUC did a 40 for 1. 40 for 1. I saw the news come out. In fact, the news came out on this last week, and in fact, I believe it came out last week. It came out last week. Yeah, it came out last week that IMUC had agreed to a 40 for 1 reverse stock split. So 25% gain today on the stock, and it was good news for the stock to open up. At prices that the people hadn't seen in this company in a long time. Whether or not they hold, I beg to differ. I don't think this is going to hold. I don't believe it'll stay in the threes, and I think the shorters will eventually come in once at the end of the day people realize IMUC, it's got a lot of work to do, but at the end of the day, they're still far away from an FDA, an FDA submission. They're still far away from that. The last time I looked at the company about a month and a half ago, as the list on what came out today. In fact, I think it was like yesterday. They're in phase 2 trials. Phase 2 trials, and anybody who watches these biotech companies know, phase 2, phase 3 to the end to submission can take anywhere between a year to 2 years possibly. So they're still a long ways away, but obviously if they continue to put out good news and some hype about the product continues to grow, maybe they can continue to stay high up there. But IMUC, at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be moving up too much higher. What's going on there, Kyle? We'll see. ZAC. Oh, okay. You're looking at something else, Bad Scientist. OWCP. Again, this is a marijuana affiliated stock, 17% today. Marijuana, man, you just never know. You just never know. But I consider MJNA the more of the, okay, let us know what's going on with the entire market. OWCP is an OTC stock that has and always has done its own thing. And if you're not in it, I wouldn't say jump in it, but very aggressive day for the stock, 17% move for OWCP. All right. This is an Israeli company, by the way. It was interesting to learn that a couple weeks ago. It's an Israeli OTC marijuana company. And whether or not they actually have operations, on the ground here in America, that has yet to be seen. I haven't been able to find legit operations on OWCP here in America. All right, I do know they're out there in Israel, and supposedly they're doing some kind of, research out there. But for what they're doing out here in America, that has yet to be seen. OCLN was a stock that I talked about a lot last week, and sure enough, the move was made and confirmed today. If you guys remember, I was clowning on OCLN last week because they announced that they were up almost 3,000% in revenues, and they announced it on Twitter, and the tweet hadn't been retweeted, not once. I think barely anybody looked at it last week, and I kind of clowned them on that here on the show. But sure enough, I mean, the market found really aggressive reasons to buy the stock today, and it soared, man. It soared on relatively weak buying. I wouldn't consider, a lot of gaps in the buying there. But look, you have a lot of chunks being taken off the table. Is there something else coming down the road? I don't know. But the orders you did see in the stock were very big and very, very large. And it's something that piqued my interest. And if I were you, I'd pay very close attention on what's going on in OCLN there, because you got a lot of buyers taking big positions in the company. So I want to see what's going on there. All right. BAS. If you guys know as well, BAS, very struggling NYSE company. This is a company that trades on the New York Stock Exchange. how they've been allowed to continue to remain trading at such a low price is beyond me. And I've struggled to find, let me see here, the amount of times a company can continue to be listed below the $1 per share minimum price that the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ require. All right. They require that these companies trade at least $1 a share for a certain amount of time. If I'm correct, I believe it's about 100 days, if I'm correct. But for whatever reason, BAS has been able to get away with trading below $1 for some time now. I do see here they listed this morning that they announced that their listing plan was accepted by the New York Stock Exchange. So obviously a deal was worked out today on BAS, and that's good news for them. Good news for them, and investors ate it up too as well. 37% move today in the stock, BAS alone. Again, this is another oil-related services and equipment play. I would look at this as a possible long-term, as long as, again, as oil prices stay considerably aggressive. All right. Looks like the stock actually hit a high of 53 cents today after cooling off after a very, very aggressive morning. But not bad. This is a one-day chart. Not bad on that one-day chart. Again, this is a stock, too, you can buy on Stock Trade and Robinhood. If I'm correct, BAS is on Robinhood. Am I correct? If anybody can confirm that for me, I do believe BAS is on Robinhood. So again, a lot of people have the idea on Robinhood or on Stock Trade that you can't play penny stocks. You can play penny stocks commission-free on Robinhood by investing in companies like BAS. All right, it is possible. It is possible. All right, it is possible. Bill Betts. Okay, so Bill Betts read today that they're getting another 6 months. They got another 6 months, which isn't bad. I mean, because a lot of things can happen in 6 months. And, getting to $1, Bill Betts gives them 6 months to get up to $1. That's what's required. And, hey, if they stick to making 12 cents here and there, they're going to get to $1 a lot faster than 6 months. Again, as long as these oil prices continue to stay higher. And, we'll see. We'll see. To give you guys a few longs, obviously we looked at a couple stocks, but I want to look at a few longs that could be beneficiaries of a Trump presidency. And one of them is some sleeper cells, and I think PGH. PGH is $1.44. More importantly, what I like about PGH is a Canadian oil and natural gas play. It was up 7% today, quietly up 7% today. Here's the one-day chart on PGH. Volume was consistent at 1 million shares, so not big volume, but this is a sleeper, and I like this because, again, it's a Canadian play. Obviously with our new president, he's not necessarily friendly to the environmentalists who have, along with the Obama administration, protected a lot of very valuable properties up there in Canada and Alaska for oil companies. There have been a lot of drilling permits that have been rescinded, denied altogether. And I think now we've got an administration who doesn't look at, the concerns of the environment, the environmentalists, as, valid. So companies like PGH are going to be huge beneficiaries of these pipeline contracts that are going to finally be able to be completed, which, again, haven't been touched now in almost 8 years. These companies have been, throttled under the Obama administration, and PGH might be a big beneficiary moving forward under a Trump presidency. All right. And at 143, you're actually at a bit of a discount from where it was this time last month. So again, this could be something to look into as well. So PGH, very interesting, and I'm going to see where we are a month from now in the stock. All right. Another one that I'd like to be also interested in, is also its friend PWE. PWE, another, and very, very similar reasons. Very, very similar reasons. Also, another Canadian stock. They're very, very similar in plays. They actually move very, very similarly. In fact, if you put the stocks on top of each other, they're pretty much at the same, almost the same price. But two companies, PWE, PGH, both Canadian plays. Again, that could be huge beneficiaries of a Trump presidency when it comes to oil and natural gas in the Canadian shale area. All right? Huge plays. I like them a lot. We'll see. All right. Appreciate that, Joel Florence, for verifying that. All right. For verifying that. Yeah, BAS definitely has, it definitely has a float that's a little bit up there. I saw that trading Jedi. But at these prices, I'm hoping that, people are going to move in and accumulate and more or less hold. And we'll see that float get smaller here as significant accumulation happens. And that gets adjusted. But we'll see. Again, higher gas prices higher oil prices, have to be the catalyst. And have to stay up there for that to, occur. All right, SPCL, solar power cells. This is a stock that, let me see, I think it's ran in its history in the past, right? Let me see. I looked at the 5-year chart. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see it. It's way back when. But OTC SPCL undergoing some kind of promotion right now. Very aggressive buying in Solaris power cells. And, look, I mean, I buy pumps too. Let's not get it twisted. I buy pumps too. I'm really excited about the PKPL pump that could be going on tomorrow or the day before or the day after that. But, this one in particular right now, it's out of compliance. It could be halted at any time. It's delinquent right now. So, look, aggressive move. But at the end of the day, this company hasn't put out any financials since September of 2015. All right. And I just, man, I hate playing stocks, scared that the hammer could come down at any moment. And I love a pump that's got all its ducks in a row, but this company doesn't have all its ducks in a row. And as much as I love the fact that it's moving, I just don't want to have to deal with that, okay? I don't want to have to deal with that. There's been a really aggressive pump in this app called Keek. Now, Keek is, I don't want to call it an Instagram. I don't know if anybody in here has used Keek. It's got about... It's got more, users in India than anything. I didn't see when I downloaded the app this weekend. It's got some bugs in it, and it felt like a knockoff Instagram or a knockoff. I don't know. I think it's one of those things. You just download it and see what you think about it yourself. Keek is a mobile app. It's been moving aggressively. The stock's been going up. And 27% today is nothing to laugh at. A lot of people are buying this stock, and it's going up. It's going up, okay? It's going up. But, they're constantly, issuing more and more shares. The float is growing. You got a lot of convertibles in there, and it just bothers me. It just bothers me to know that people are cashing out as you're buying buying the company. But a lot of people are in there cashing out millions of dollars on the stock. But the thing about it is that they've figured out a way, or maybe it's just very aggressive marketing, that, people are buying the stock. So you got a lot of insiders who are cashing out. And when I say insiders, they're not necessarily directors, because I didn't see any necessarily Form 4s being slapped out. But these are obviously, investors who were in it at the beginning who are taking their profits. But at the end of the day, the stock is moving, all right? And it's all about having more buyers than sellers. And if you have more buyers, the stock is green. 27% was gained today on Keek. All right, 27% was gained on Keek today. All right, so that's not bad. Not bad, and there's a stock to watch. Definitely a stock to watch. definitely a stock. And appreciate that, Joel Flores, for the email. Got the email. Appreciate that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for a name for the show so I can get this together and put it all together. I'm trying to do the whole what's that guy on Prison Planet, Alex Jones thing. I eventually want to do what Alex Jones did. He started off with a couple videos and now he's like practically YouTube only. Eventually doing something like that is what I would love to get into. Shout out Taz Mark. Taz Mark was the guy who, hey man, talk about Keith. I think you must be in it and making good money. So shout out to you for loving Keek, and maybe some other people who jump in with you. All right. What's this? ERHE. What is that? Okay. ER. All right. So this is the OTC. I'm not sure if it's I don't know if it's legit or not. I mean, ERHE looks like it's a 00 OTC energy company. I would be hesitant on that yet. We'll see. I wouldn't jump in there yet. I don't know what's going on with that. Somebody sent me an email just now. Hey, talk about ERHE. I don't know what's going on there. So I don't want to say, hey, go run and buy it and get blamed for it later. So if it undergoes something, and we'll see. But the fact that it had a pretty aggressive down day today, and a lot of lack of volume. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if energy prices continue to remain higher, that we see an OTC runner on our end. All right, you're going to see an OTC runner. Supposedly, there's going to be one or two OTC companies that they will, crown as the OTC runners of, and gainers of big oil. All right, so that could be many of them. That's why this PKPL pump tomorrow is going to be very interesting, because I want to see what that does. This is another oil and gas play, just like what we just looked at, the ERHE. Another one, AKVA. That's another oil and gas play. Interesting enough, this was up today on very low volume. But the thing about this is I like the share structure in AKVA. Because if I remember correctly, the float's pretty low on that one. AKVA. Let me check that real quick, because I think the float might. Okay, I can't see it. But if I'm right, I think the float on AKVA is pretty low. It's pretty low. It's a Texas-based oil company. They haven't put out any news recently. That's the only thing. But they've updated the financials. They've got updated financials. They're in compliance. But if you go on the website, they haven't updated the news since 2015. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. But AKVA, beautiful share structure. Definitely prepared to run. 0038, small gain today. And that would be a stock I would watch, AKVA, because it doesn't have a big time float, and it could really run if people got behind it. All right. Drewmon, yes, we do play options. I'm not heavy. I'm just playing with it right now. For the most part, we play penny stocks. Options, again, I've said that a lot. Options is very good. You can do very well. But again, you're dealing with time sensitivity, theta, delta. It's just a lot to watch. And if you're not careful, you can lose your entire, investment literally in minutes if you're not careful. And I think when you compare, penny stocks to options, they both have, goods and bads. But at the end of the day, I like penny stocks because I like to be able to not have to worry that if I lose 30% of my money today, that's 30% is gone forever, which it could be in options. I mean, if your contract expires, that's it. Whereas in stocks, I lose 30%, but I still own the stock. I still own that many shares. I still have an opportunity to make my money back or more in the long term by holding the stock. Unfortunately, in options, you don't get that opportunity. All right. Yeah. AKVA is it would be my pick if these run. All right, because it's ripe for a promoter to get behind because the share structure is right. All right. NSPR 266, 15 cents gain today. Looks like 6% move. What was the news? What was the news? I don't see any news that was responsible for this today. Inspire Med. Again, this is a stock that has had its few runs. It's had its few runs. In fact, if you remember, the beginning of November, it had its run, but didn't hold its gain. So that's the only issue about this stock. When it does spike, it pretty much never holds it. So this is kind of one of those kind of get in and get out situations. And sure enough, today the stock got to 339, didn't hold it, closed at 266. This is again a very, very suspicious mover. But when it does move, you better go ahead and take your profits, because you're not going to be hanging up there at those high greens for too much longer. What's going on with Gevo? I mean, you tell me. You tell me what's going on with Gevo, man. I hit the company up today on Twitter. They have a Twitter account, by the way, and very, very wonderful news. Even Alaska Airlines tweeted, "Hey, we used Gevo Fuel as the first company to do a transcontinental flight using renewable oil. Renewable fuel, but no movement, and I don't get it. I don't know what it is, and it's just like any other company that's out there. It's got some debt issues. It's got but for the most part, it's a company that's done its thing. And what you do is you find a big contract or a big company to get behind you and support and love your product, and it's done exactly that. And why it's not winning, I don't know. But I do know this: if oil prices continue to be high, right, continue to go higher, companies like Gevo will profit because there will be companies who depend on gasoline, like airlines, like trucking companies, transportation companies, that will look at Gevo and their technology and say, maybe we should give them a look. Because I would bet that whatever Gevo sells per gallon or whatever it is they sell it at, that amount, it's probably significantly cheaper than the going rate of crude oil. So I think rising crude oil also benefits Gevo. It benefits Gevo. So I want to see it go higher. As long as they remain low, all right, then Gevo becomes kind of one of those things where it's like, because oil prices aren't that bad, all right? Let's not take the risk on the new stuff, because let's just go for what we want and what we know, because it's actually not priced that high right now. So we'll see. Gevo, Gevo. So it's constantly watched. I'm watching it. I got an alert on it. If it moves, I'm right on top of it. But until then, we'll see. Evil RC says the stock salute. Stock salute. I'll definitely take that in consideration. I really will. I mean, I was also thinking, if you guys remember the movie Wall Street, Bud Fox, the main character, gets busted by Stockwatch, and I was thinking about calling the show Stockwatch, so that could be something, and creating the whole logo from the movie and whatnot. So I thought that was really, really cool, Stockwatch. So we'll see. All right, Gevo and a few others should go through the roof based on their product. Yeah, they should be going through the roof. One company that I don't understand that is not running is Plastic to Oil. This is actually a legit company out of, I want to say like Eastern New York. We had a guy call up here and he said, hey, it's a legit company near my house. And they actually are a legit company that literally takes, plastic trash and turns it into oil. They literally change it into oil. And now, whether or not it can use to fuel vehicles, I'm not sure. And I'm going to have to do some verification on that. But this is a company that I don't understand why they're not able to turn their situation into customers, into dollars. All right. Plastic to oil. Again, another business that has a very promising product that for whatever reason hasn't been able to translate, a promising product into success into a rising stock price for whatever reason. Okay. Yes, indeed. Yeah, PKPL. PKPL is another one that's going under a promotion. Under a promotion that should be, and they got paid $15,000 for it. $15,000 for a 2-day promo. For that promotion of PKPL. All right, for PKPL, 15 days. In fact, let me see if I can pull up who, because I should at least let you guys know who was it, who got the deal. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. PKPL. Okay, PKPL. It was a company called Insider Financial. Insider Financial. I think it's insiderfinancial.com if I'm correct. It should be insiderfinancial.com. And they promote OTC companies. They promote OTC companies. And again, they supposedly believe that it's a legit play. That they got actual operations. But this time of year, in OTC land, you do see some pretty aggressive promotions on what we call virgin tickers in the business. Virgin tickers are tickers that have never been promoted before. They're companies that have typically very good, good to mid excellent share structure. So you'll see names out of nowhere that will run typically from the week, the very first business day after Thanksgiving to, the day before Christmas. You'll start seeing some very aggressive new promotions. You'll start seeing some tickers that you've just never seen before on what they call virgin tickers. Virgin tickers. All right. You say you got a pump on PKL. Yeah, that's going to run today too. That's going to run. All right. PED. He said without the pedo. Oil and gas, 13 cents. Okay, yeah, that's another dirt cheap, oil play. Let me look at that 3-month chart. Okay. That's the 6-month. My only thing with what I'm seeing so far is, all right, okay, so yeah, all right, so I do see the stabilization here during the summer, and then eventually a breakdown. Again, I liked what we looked at earlier. I like the BAS, and I liked some of the other ones. PED, 13 cent move, 12 cents. That's a huge move, man. That's a huge move for the stock. I'm not sure what the float is. I would check and see what the float is on PED. Stocks tend to be this low. They have the tendency to have a ton of shares out there. Again, I showed you guys one earlier. That was an OTC play that doesn't have one. It's just simply dirt cheap. That just hasn't had any real strong movement. But I would PED. Looking at the chart, it looks like it really hasn't done much ever. So, to see myself in it now is just, I don't know. PED. It looks like it had really, it looks like a high of 25 cents. Looks like it's looking for support there, which hasn't been too long ago. Support is at 10 cents. So, we'll see. I'm just curious as to know what the float is on this one. If Yahoo has it right, 33.7. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Of course, I'd love to see it in the high teens to low 20s, but 33.7 isn't too bad, especially for that price. It's not too bad for that price. It's It's not too bad for that price. All right. It's not too bad for that price. Yeah, Bovash. Yeah, we talked about AMDA. AMDA is definitely on watch list for that info being put out by the company, because that's going to be a situation where the company is going to eventually put out that information, and that should move the higher. What we saw today was the smart money and the early money jump into the move on AMDA. Obviously, they were watching the FDA website, because I mean, I don't know how you would even get info on that unless you're signed up to somebody who would, give you that info ahead of time, because that's what an early move. I mean, to get into the stock before even the company announces, that's a huge move. That's a huge move. Another oil and gas play that's moving up quietly. AXAS. Again, I gave you, my list of ones that are nice to hold, but this one, volume is slowly moving into the stock, but nice little 5-day chart that's developing now in AXAS. $9.93, 4% move today to the upside. It looks like they had earnings not too long ago. And what were they? I don't know if they were good or not. I don't see that they've been posted here by TradingView. But looks like they had earnings a couple weeks ago, actually. Looks like 13 days ago. And they did report a Q3 loss. They did report a Q3 loss. But overall, 4% gain today. But again, I like those other oil plays I gave you guys earlier. But I will continue to watch this. I'll continue to watch this to see what these are about. And again, I know we're giving a lot of tickers here, but again, we're just looking for opportunities. Again, right? We're looking for short-term opportunities. 2-3 days, boom, move into something else. 3-4 days, boom, move into something else. Whatever it is, your strategy. Just looking for opportunities. That's all that's about. All right. Yeah, man. I mean, what OGEN, the huge FDA winner. Now, this is going to be a multiple day run. I mean, FDA approvals on the list in terms of, power news, that's maybe like second to a government grant or a government purchase, right? So you have levels to even news. Number one, any kind of government approval in terms of, actually, I'd say a government purchase. Let's just say a government purchase. FDA approval, that would be considered government approvals. Third, after that would be trial news, trial 2, 3, whatever it is. And then after that, good news in terms of corporate updates and whatnot. But FDA, approvals, a fast track approval too, by the way, isn't necessarily a be all end all. It's not necessarily saying it's done. Fast track basically means it doesn't have to go through a lot of the bullshit that it typically would go through. If I'm correct, I think somebody would be able to back me up on that. But OGEN, just fast track, just basically a fast track designation for their oral mucositis. Hopefully, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mucositis product, AG013. All right. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Let's see here. Lending Club. Now, lendingclub.com, for those of you guys who don't know, it's basically a site for people to get, home loans, car loans. The company gets paid by financial institutions for sharing your information, all right, for sharing your information. And, this is a situation, as you can see here, the news that's out recently. The former CEO of the company has set up a new company that's basically the same thing. So Lending Club is going to be having some competition here soon. And it was listed under the 10 best stocks to buy under $10 by Kiplinger. So really interesting to see that stock. being ran now. I guess that's the catalyst there, because I don't see any recent news. But Lending Club, situated as the best stock to buy now, or one of the 10 best stocks to buy under $10 a share. Obviously, we can't, go any further without talking about the huge moves being made today in AMD. I mean, AMD, again, consistently beating that $9 price. AMD is really trying to do something here, fam. This is the 1-day chart. But AMD, man, this has been an incredible move for 5 days. Over 5 days, you've already really touched, 3 days. I mean, $3 a share. I've been watching the stock. It busted out of 833, busted out of 871. And sure enough, it's going higher. It is going higher. Here's the 5-day chart. I've been following this stock. And, God, if I only knew. Again, somebody brought up options. A week ago, a $9 call in AMD, looked to be insane. I mean, it was way out of the money. It was going for like a penny a share. Now, I think you could be up almost 1,500% if you would have bought it a week and a half ago. I mean, AMD $9 calls were just, I think they were going for like a penny a week and a half ago. And sure enough, you're practically almost in the money there. In fact, you were in the money today in the stock, before the pullback, and you should be in the money tomorrow, all the way green for AMD. AMD is going to finally close over $9 a share, in my opinion. Now, look, the stock is up very aggressively. A pullback was warranted almost like Thursday of last week. I was thinking a pullback was going to be real, but it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. In fact, it's been beating up the volume, incredible amount of volume today. 65 million shares traded on AMD today. In fact, I think that was the volume. It's one of the volume leaders, if I'm correct, right? I think AMD is one of the volume leaders overall in comparison to the NASDAQ and the NYSE. So AMD leading the way with heavy buying, and I expect AMD to close over $8 over $9 a share tomorrow. Yeah, huge move right now. Huge move. All right. Gregory Hall. Now, Balta is a scam, man. Balta, BLTA is a scam. It is a scam. They actually approached me several years ago to promote their stock. It's a scam. It's a company that has no ongoing operations. They don't ever want to buy a plane. It is a company that just wants to sell paper shares, and they don't ever want to buy a plane or anything like that. All right. Balta Airlines is a company that, hey, we're raising money to buy our first jet. This is a company that could have bought a jet a long time ago. All right, BLTA. They're out of compliance. They could have bought a jet they've made well over, maybe $30 or $40 million, of all the shares. In fact, if you go on their 10K and look at all the money that they've gone in and out of the stock, they could have bought a plane a long time ago. And they put in a very, they got a really nice looking website, and hey, this is where we want to fly. This is where these are the planes we want to buy, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. They're not going to do any of that. All right? They're not going to do any of that. This bullshit. And I'm very familiar with this stock because it's a Michigan company. And as you know, I started out promoting when I was living in Michigan. And, hey, man, the local kid, look into us, blah, blah, blah. It just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. And I never ended up working with them. But they it's full of shit. They're full of shit. All right. But, I mean, if you want to play it, play it. I mean, promotion is promotion. Play it. Okay. Play it. SRSP Sports Supplement Group. Sports Supplement Group. I don't know anything about it. Looks like TradingView. Okay, all right. TradingView found it. SRSP. I don't know anything about this company, man. What's going on with this company? SRSP. sports supplement group. They remind me of a couple years ago. There was uh, a company that was trading on OTC markets, and I want to say not Muscle Farm Nutrition, but it was another company that was selling shares of like their whey powder and their creatine, and they had what's the wide receiver, Terrell Owens, and all that stuff. This company kind of reminds me of them. This company's out of compliance, SRSP. Not sure why it's up. They haven't had any financials since 2008. So if this is being pumped, it's just somebody really just trying to make a buck. I don't know how some of these stocks still trade. The SEC just hasn't gotten to them yet. But, they're still trading shares. And since 2008, it's an OTC pink stock. And it is what it is, man. If you want to play that stock, I wouldn't dare. But it's still running. It's still running. I think it was called XFIT. Yeah, I think it was called XFIT. And XFIT is still in operation, if I'm correct. Was it XFIT? I think it was XFIT. My fictional figure equipment. I think it was XFIT. XFIT actually did pretty good today. Not enough volume today, though. Not enough volume. No, I don't think it was XFIT. I think it was something else. It wasn't XFIT. Now I look at their website. It was another company that was selling creatine and shit like that. Okay, but XFIT up 15% today. But XFIT, it's so funny because XFIT is another company that could be promoted too. Airline lottery, yeah. RJet Q, Republican Airways, or Republic Airways. When did they file for bankruptcy? Oh, okay. Chapter 11 intends to emerge from Chapter 11. When was that? 5 days ago? Oh, okay. Again, this is a company that's going to emerge, probably not with the shareholders, though. Look, I don't have any stomach for any more bankruptcy plays. Every single one we've looked at, the company, has been a dud, and every single one of them has gone against the shareholders. Every single one of them. Every single one of them that we've looked at. I don't care. Name them. SDOCQ, ZincQ. I mean, every single one of them has gone against the shareholders. So I'm not even playing any of that. If it happens, it happens. If not, it is what it is. It is what it is. In fact, there was an oil play that came out of bankruptcy. We thought that was going to be a huge winner, and that one's kind of struggling. Atlas Energy, this is a company too I would watch under under rising oil prices. ATLS, this is a company that came out of bankruptcy not too long ago. Was huge, soared out of bankruptcy. Thought it would be like UPLMQ. I thought it was going to be the next UPLMQ. Sure enough, it's kind of died at the 150s. And found some support here in the 130s, between 130 and 140, and kind of bounces in between there. But very low, it's got low volume, but, Atlas Energy, another oil company that, could be a beneficiary, showing, close to oversold here on the RSI, but no volume for me to really stick around. Yeah, it could be huge, could be trash. Exactly, Bill Betts. Could be huge, could be trash. Ryan gets it. Yeah, I know you're still a big CBK fan, and again, we've put that on our watch list. CBK, nice little sideways move today, nothing much, but if you're long the stock, any bit of green helps, I guess, right? Any bit of green helps, and CBK continuing its slow but sure move higher. In fact, if we look at the 1 month stock here, 1 month chart, it continues to move higher slowly, but surely. Definitely nothing to get excited about, but hey, green is green. Green is green. Yeah, we talked about MSTX, and MSTX put out some really good news today. That look, they continue to work on their little things, their projects, and But, to go long, I just think there's some better opportunities out there on MSTX. But if you're a patient person, do your thing. On MSTX. If you're a patient person, do your thing. 30% is, that's pretty good money. Got great volume. Well, it's going to hold 45 million shares. I doubt it. But, throughout the day or throughout the days, it's got pretty good volume moving into the stock. All right. It's got a pretty good volume moving into the stock. I think if you were in the stock a week ago, it probably would have been a good play for you. But now to sit here at 10 cents, hoping that it can continue to go higher, I don't know. Okay. Because now everybody's talking about, oh, well, it can get sold, it can get bought out. I think the premium would be very, very healthy. So if you're going to be in MSTX and all this, sale talk going on, you've got to be somebody who's going to be willing to be in this for some time. You got to be somebody being willing to be in this for some time, because it very well could be sold. It very well could be sold, and it could happen soon. It could happen in a couple months. It could happen soon. It could happen in a couple months. Could happen soon. It could happen in a couple months. Who knows? All right. But at 10 cents a share, you got to be willing to stick around. All right. But that premium is going to be really nice. Even if they get $2-3 a share, that's going to be an insane return on investment for somebody who's already in the stock. That premium at 10 cents a share, it's going to be very, very good money for somebody on MSTX. But again, we can't see the future. We don't know how long from now they could be bought out. We don't know. All right. We don't know. Let me see here. RXMD. What is that? RXMD. RXMD. This is a. Let me see here. Let's find out what RXMD. They're a health services company. They're a provider of prescription pharmaceuticals. And supposedly they're saying, or they released news close to closing today, where they delivered record sales of $13 million. Again, the ticker is RXMD. I'm going to watch this tomorrow. RXMD, 24% move. So it looked like somebody got the news ahead of time. I hate that shit. Got in heavy. Decent volume, 3 million shares traded, at 3 cents a share. So that's not too many buyers, but I definitely foresee more coming in it tomorrow. That's not bad news. That's pretty good news. Record sales of 13 million. Whether it need to be profit. Let me see here. Reading the news, and again, this is on Investors Hub. Investors Hub, too, a very powerful website for those individuals who want to, stay on top of a lot of OTC news. They're very, very good on the news that they put out. And some companies do go to Investors Hub before anywhere else to put out news. Well, not all the time, but, many of them do. Okay, so shout out to RXMD and Investors Hub for this news. Looks like the company reported, although after that much sales, a small loss of less than $3,000 for the quarter due to, looks like, some tax issues and whatnot. All right. Which is a 98% decrease from the same period in 2015 when the company reported a loss of $160,000. So a big turnaround there for RXMD. And I want to watch to see if that translates into a return for the stock tomorrow. We'll see how powerful this news is. All right. Let me see here. All right. Genesis Healthcare, red day for the stock. Pretty much sideways, 3% today. No biggie there. All right, let's go ahead and get some stocks to talk about here for the next 30 minutes in terms of what's going to be popping tomorrow. Obviously, I'm looking at, oil is still looking good. Silver is still looking good. By the way, it's really interesting to see. Silver and gold have made strong moves, man. Since I don't know what's happened since 6 o'clock, but gold is up almost 7 points. Silver, trailing behind. Silver always kind of trails gold as like that in terms of big moves. But gold is up 7 points, man. I don't know what's going on in the world markets, but looks like something's happened since 6 o'clock. Gold going higher. Looks like it's kind of slowly working its way back down, but for the most part, 7 points right now. Gold at 12.17. At 12.17 right now for gold. Which isn't necessarily, which is higher than where it was intraday today. So 12.17 right now for gold. Will it hold that into the morning, into the rest of the day? Tomorrow we'll see. I don't know. But right now, gold is trending higher than it was all day today. All right, all day today by a few points. By a few points. But every point matters in this business. Every point matters. All right. Bill Betsy said, J-Nug, you're in. Who's that? Mario Martinez, OPXA. Yeah, I think we touched on OPXA. Again, this is the biggest gainer on the market today. 119% today. Again, huge day for OPXA. It was the leader in the market today. I mean, it was the leader in the market today and, closed up high. These are charts. Every day, somewhere, there's a country song like that, right? I think it's 5 o'clock somewhere. On the OTC markets, every day there's a stock that goes at least 50%. You know what I'm saying? So there's a stock going 100% somewhere, and your job is to find it. And OPXA was that stock today on the markets. Huge move for OPXA. And again, why did that stock go 100%? You tell me. You tell me, because TradingView certainly isn't. And I wasn't looking at the stock. And I was pretty pissed off about that when I saw it was already up damn near 80, 50, percent. About 80% when I saw it. And I would never have expected that close today, because it closed higher, which is really interesting, because that tells me that you've got people who believe this could be a multiple day move when a stock closes higher. When they tend to close lower, then you've got some people, why are they taking profits into the next day? Don't they believe they could make some more money tomorrow? So really interesting to see OPXA close higher. So that's going to be on our list for tomorrow, just to see. Again, you stock traders, you people on that Robinhood Gold, you guys can take advantage of this. You guys can take advantage of this very much. Or regular Robinhood. You can buy this stock. I do believe OPXA is available to trade on both of those. All right, on both of those. All right, on both of those. Yeah, so, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow with gold and now oil rallying. What happens with that? A stock that we talked about last week. Again, I don't know if you guys are playing Azure. I put on Azure as a stock to watch last week, Thursday. Again, this is the former New York Stock Exchange company that used to trade at $25 a share. Got devastated, overextended itself. Eventually ended up on the OTC markets, which they're comfortable. They're pretty comfortable. 5-day chart looks pretty nice. And Azure, AZUR, slowly working its way back up there. Used to be a huge competitor of CHK, and slowly working its way back. So Azure, AZUR, this is it used to be a very, very, and it still is, honestly, it still is a very, very big company. All right, very, very big company, but not what it used to be. Not what it used to be, but still pretty big. AZUR. AZUR. All right. All right, so I've already got a short list of what to watch for. Tyson Batts, you said EZENQ was the biggest gainer today. All right, Xenia. All right, not sure what that was about. Don't know anything about it, but another bankrupt company stock. Another bankrupt company stock. Don't know anything about that one though. Line Q, Lin Q again. Lin Q is is another company we watched here, slowly but surely work its way back. And we've had this on our biggest gainer list a couple times here on Lin Q. Energy play that moves very, very aggressively, very, very aggressively. Not something I would hang in, but very aggressive mover Lin Q. But obviously now with the sector running, I think you got now some better options available to you on the NASDAQ, especially on some OTC levels as well. Okay. Yeah, we talked about GGB. GGB, good long-term play. SPU, SPU, play it at a safe spot. Other than that, don't get caught high. But GGB long is very nice. We looked at GGB long. NAK, haven't paid attention to NAK. What NAK is doing. Let me see here, the 1 month chart on NAK. Strong moves on NAK. But here's the thing, there are a lot of stocks that you can put your money in, but unfortunately, there's always limited capital, right? There's, at the end of the day, you come up with all these charts and all these stocks that would be great opportunities for you to put your money in, but you're dealing with limited capital, and you've got to choose wisely. Unfortunately, all you have is to choose wisely at where to put your money in. But at the end of the day, I like what gold is doing if it stays up there, and I like what oil is doing. And for short-term investors like ourselves, if you want to go long, go long. I mean, we looked at GGB, we looked at AMD, which have been excellent long. And when I say long, I mean long as in 30 days, 15 days if you want to go. And obviously some people may have a different idea of long. Long to them is a couple years, but that's not where I see myself. Not at this time in my life, going that long on anything. And honestly, I don't believe in going that long in anything anymore, just because we've seen recently what a lot of these company executives would do. Look at what's that Volkswagen, and mislead people for years into believing a company is doing better than what they say. And sure enough, there are people who lost everything in plays like that. Enron, and we can go off the list. All right, we can go off the list. This is Advantage Oil. This is definitely not a small company here. The thing that worries me about this is that they trade at a very, very high PE, multiple billions of dollars. This is a big company, Advantage Oil, $7 a share, moving aggressively now, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this. Advantage Oil. It's not a cheap stock though. That's the only thing. It's not a cheap stock, but it's a very stable one though. Very stable one though. Doesn't have crazy volume, but again, I think a good catalyst will move this higher consistently, and that's what we have right now. So I'm still going to watch it, but again, not a cheap stock, and I think maybe if you're willing to risk it, you got a little bit more opportunity to make bigger gains more quickly on some cheaper plays. But that's a pretty consistent, safe one to put your money in. You're not going to wake up and see that stock down 50%. All right, Advantage Oil, AAV. All right. Gregory Hall. I'm not really going to talk about Free F anymore. Again, it's actually a legit company that has 2 huge rigs that they're actually operating. Sure enough, the stock taking a huge hit after its run ups, but the stock is still being played heavily on Investors Hub. I think they're right now the breaker chart chart. They're actually on the forums. They're I think number 8 or most talked about forums. So I don't know what's going on with Free F, but I definitely could see maybe a promotion being happened there, because that one's been put on the map now. That's been put on the map now. Okay. So let's talk about. Let's see here. Let's put the list together tomorrow. Now, when you talk about gold, I would need to see what sectors are moving, or what companies are moving. when we talk about gold, and when we talk about gold, I think you got to get really aggressive and specifically be under $5 a share, because under high oil, high commodity prices, they move very, very aggressively. And I wouldn't even consider them saying high, because they're, it's got a good, they're up good right now. Whether or not they hold, we'll see. Whether or not they hold, we'll see. But so far, I like, let me see here what gold's been doing so far tonight and last week, and this for the last 5 days. Looks like the stock is really recovering, or I should say the sector is really recovering, and I like what we're seeing so far in gold. And if I look at, I'm not putting any micro caps in it just yet, because you put in the micro caps, you get a ton of them. But for the most part, NAK right now is probably my leader. Would be NAK. I like NAK. Negative, 3% today. But again, with these oil prices stay there, I like that. I do like it. Nava Gold, and again, I'm looking for stocks that have been previous runners. Nava Gold, NG 454. Again, not a cheap stock, but again, a consistent one. Here's the 5-day chart at a breakout level here. Could be moving higher here. Let me see the 3-month. 3-month looks nice, but we'll see. 3-month looks nice. Looks like it just bounced off support just above 4. An NG look like could be setting up for something. In terms of, let me see if we can get something. NAK is probably your cheapest and safest. I think below NAK, then you're talking about some really, really shitty companies. But NAK up. Let me see here. NAK. Because it's saying NAK is up really huge over the last 5 days. In fact, over the last 5 days, NAK is up almost 53% over the last 5 days. The stock over the last year is up over 300%. So NAK would probably be my play tomorrow, if again this gas move. If gold remains as bullish as it's looking right now. As bullish as it's looking right now. So I don't know if NAK is on U-Stock Trade. Not you, on Robinhood, but I would look at that tomorrow if gold continues to remain high throughout the night. But I like NAK. I like NAK at these levels. All right, but it is up pretty high. This is looks like it just got on the map. 53% in 5 days. That's a huge return. That is a huge return. One of my old winners that's calmed down quite a bit. This is a stock that I used to think could, get to $10 a share, and it just went flat, somewhere toward the end of summer, was MUX. And, the crashing gold prices had something to do with that. MUX, very, very aggressive company. This is a gun where the CEO is actually the owner of the company. So this is one of those, I call them, kind of, Carnegie type plays, where the big boss is the man who's got, his name on it. So he's going to do whatever he's got to do to make sure this company does well. So 3% gain today, but a turnaround here is needed. And we'll see here if this company could, start turning things around here. Hopefully with gold prices continuing to remain higher. And the trend looks like it's going to continue to go higher. 5 days so far in gold been not bad. It's been really, really good. Really, really good over the last 5 days in the stock. Now, the 30-day chart looks like something else, but 5 days so far looks fine. All right, but last 30 days, gold has suffered. Gold has suffered. All right. So we'll see if that trend holds. All right. Said can't go wrong with JNUG. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and JNUG, also again another optionable play too, JNUG. So a lot of people play the options on JNUG, but yeah, that is a tradable ETF that moves very aggressively on increases in gold, and JNUG is up real nicely over the last a couple days. You had 638 was the low last week, and now you're at 734. You're a dollar a share, over the last week so far in JNUG. And again, this is a stock that follows the price of gold very carefully. So shout out to anybody who's playing this. JNUG. All right. Yes, indeed. SKLN. I don't know what's going on with SKLN. I follow them on Twitter. The stock has been very bearish this last 5 days. I mean, you've pretty much been losing money every single day in the stock, except today. So, why anybody would play SKLN now? It's new to me. Did this stock have a reverse split? I don't think so, right? Yeah, they did have a reverse split. Okay. They did have a reverse split because I remember seeing JNUG at like 12 cents. So I'm looking at it like, what's going on with JNUG? Why is this at $2 a share now? Sure enough, I did remember they did have a reverse split. Yeah, JNUG, SKLN looks like a very, very easy short. And that spike today looks like you had actually some buying. And when I say buying, I don't mean people buying the stock. I mean people covering, so buying it back from their broker on the short. EBIO. 250 a share. What do you like about this one, man? I don't see anything happening here. All right, Joe Flores. Have a good night, sir. Oh, MGT. I'm not going to even talk about MGT. MGT, that's that company owned by that pedophile. It's actually MGTI. MGTI, Mr. Lopez, owned by that pedophile who was using poor underage girls and having them shit on him. Again, watch the documentary. I think it's called like Gringo or something to that effect. But this guy was just recently voted CEO of the company. So MGT officially appointed him as CEO of the company. And look, the stock has its own little, following. And if you say anything bad about it, they'll really come after you on Twitter and shit. But it's a shitty company. The product they're trying to create is a shitty product. There's been so much writing on MGT Capital that it just doesn't make any sense to buy it. All right, it doesn't make any sense to buy it. But this guy's a fucking pedophile, and I don't invest in companies that have pedophiles in charge of the business. All right. Yeah, it's on. I think it's on Showtime. Just type in John McAfee documentary. I think it's on like YouTube or something like that. You can watch it. The guy's a fucking pedophile, man. He's sick. Guy's fucking sick. All right. So let's go ahead and get the list started. I'm going to put the list out there. Again, this is just some stocks that we talked about today. Stocks with some huge catalyst that I want to put together. This is probably a long-term play. Could run. AMD. Let me see here. Ogen. Yeah, Ogen. Let me see Ogen. What was the winner on Ogen again? The FDI. That could be another multiple day. Could be another green day for Ogen. Be very careful on Ogen not to get caught too high, because you're going to have a pullback in the stock on Ogen. That could happen. But the news came out relatively late, so on Ogen, and actually, what was that, like 2:45, 3 o'clock? So it came relatively late, but huge move in Ogen. I would just be very careful tomorrow not to buy in too high. But OGen, I could see the stock going over $1 tomorrow. So that could be a really great winner for you people on U stock trade. You know what I mean? You're not affected by the PDT rule. You might be able to ride that on a pullback, to $1, and it's going to touch, might come back, and might want to retest that again. All right, because I definitely see the stock opening up, if not at $1 or very, very close to it, and trying to touch that. In fact, the day's range was 85 cents. I foresee the stock breaking past that, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. All right, FDA news can be powerful news, but whether or not the company deserves that long term is another story. But tomorrow could be another green day for the stock. All right. Yeah, OPXA. OPXA. Yeah, I like OPXA today as well. We talked about that just a little bit earlier. Again, strong close, man. That was a huge, strong close for that stock as well. Bad Scientist, man. I don't know what happened with that URRE. I was looking at that today too. I thought, let me see here, but unfortunately didn't work out. But I will continue to watch it. I'll continue to watch, uranium, because I learned a little bit more about it. It's very, very useful. Very, very useful. So we'll see what it looks like continues down the road. We'll be watching that. Let me see here. AUPH, again, it looks like giving back some gains there. In fact, let me see another OTC play. This Clean Coal Technology stock. Clean Coal Technologies. I mean, this is a stock that's it's going through some of its pumps, but my thing about it is I don't believe it's legit. I don't believe it's legit, so I'm not going to co-sign that stock, because I honestly don't believe they have any coal properties whatsoever. I don't believe they have any coal properties whatsoever, so not a fan of that at all. PGAS, yeah, PGAS was one that we talked about last week. PGAS, and PGAS was on our list last week, I believe. So sure enough, PGAS 50% on the market today. Again, volume wasn't the greatest on PGAS, but another company that, OTC oil company that, again, if oil continues to stay higher, could move. All right. So again, here at the show, we only really try to follow the sectors that are running. I'm sure there are a lot of companies putting up 2% here, 3% here that are doing really well, but I'm looking for short-term, immediate gains. Get in, get out, move on to the next one. Get in, get out, move on to the next one. Accumulating as much of a percentage wins as I can as I continue to move, along. So people say, well, you jumping from stock to well, that's the game. I mean, we're short-term investors. We're looking for, the ability to ride the catalyst, move on to the next one, and whatever that catalyst is. All right. So we were in shipping, medications, bio. Now today's oil. Oil's running. How long it'll run? Who knows? Whatever runs after that, we'll be on to that one. All right. We'll be on to that one. Okay. So again, let me just do a quick scan of some other things that interest me. BAS could be another green day on BAS too. BAS too. That could be another one. I did see Bad Scientist. You said MIRN. MIRN was another one that, ran really good today. In fact, let me see. What was the day chart today was not bad, man. That's actually a really nice chart for one day. And again, I know people all they do is look at the stocks that we put up, and they'll go through that. They'll go through that. AMDA, don't forget AMDA. I don't want to put up too much, but there's so many, opportunities. There's so many good opportunities out there right now. ORIG. Let me see. ORIG again, not the shipping. It's not a. Okay, what's that? Let me see. ORIG. Uh, ORIG is not necessarily it's not a shipping company. It's a oil drilling company. ORIG 18% today. ORIG. So I like ORIG too. Uh, but again, I'm just looking for stocks undergoing a catalyst. And again, there's so many we could put. We can put NAK. We can put PED, which I don't like PED, but we can put that ENRJ. You know, ENRJ. That could be another honorable mention. ENRJ at 34 cents a share, 12% move today. Very very small oil company. Very 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 small oil company. And you know whether or not how legitimate this company is left to be told. ENRJ, because I was doing some research on them, and you know they say they're an independent energy oil company based out of San Antonio, Texas. Let me see here. They recently suspended their dividend last year, which is understandable under situations where they had low oil prices. So they had to reserve that capital. But look, actually now I look at it, they do have some properties out there in Mississippi and a couple other Louisiana properties. So it's actually pretty legit. Actually pretty legit. All right. So not too bad, not too bad. Trades on the Amex. All right, volume. I'd love to see volume improve, though. I'd like to see volume improve on ENRJ, but look, the 5-day, which is what you're seeing right now, doesn't look too bad. I mean, 26 cents. Now you're at 34. You had some consistent buying there, so we'll see. But I'd love to see more people come into the stock. I'd love to see more people come into the stock. So, all right. So let me go ahead and put that in there, and end the day with that. I'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow, and we'll see what these stocks did. Big list today, bigger list than usual today, but I mean, there's a lot running, and when a sector is running like oil, they tend, a lot of tickers tend to run it. And look, you guys in that list, I know we're going to have another 20, 30, 40% stock in that list somewhere tomorrow. I can just feel it. I can honestly just feel it that one of these stocks are going to run very, very aggressively tomorrow. I like all of them. But obviously, we all have limited capital. Those of you guys who, not very, against in playing U stock trade, you've got an opportunity to really, profit tomorrow huge on some of these moves, especially on that FDA announcement, on that other ticker we put up, AMDA. That's going to be a run when once that company puts out that news, if it does, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. EZEN, what is that? EZEN. Oh, okay. You think you're talking about the EZEN Q? Yeah, it's a IT. I don't know what that's about. EZEN Q. I don't know what EZEN Q is about. Renewable something contract. I don't know what EZEN Q is about. Not sure what EZEN Q is about. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have Travi posting up the chat room. Travi posting up the chat room. Oh, you said it loses the queue? It will lose the queue? Travi, do you have a or Bill Betch, do you have an article on that? Again, volume very aggressive today on EZN Q. Looks like the company's coming out of bankruptcy tomorrow. Look, you're at 400% today on the move. Very, very aggressive buying in the stock today alone. So, shout out to anybody who was in that the day before, because that would have been a huge move for you. All right, 400% gain on one day. It was $45 before the bankruptcy. Yeah, let's not get too excited about it, but put it on the list. So I guess tomorrow it trades at EZN, we'll see what happens with EZN if it does in fact lose the Q. So put that on the list. Watch that tomorrow. I'll definitely be watching that. We'll talk about it tomorrow and see what it does. All right. EZN. Thank you, Bill Betts, for that. All right. And it's funny that RXII was to run like that today because it was on our list on Thursday. It was on our list on Thursday. RXII right under AUPH. So 60% move today. We were pretty good on that. RXII was on that list to watch on Thursday. RXII. So shout out to. It looks like we got that right. Really aggressive there. RXII. All right. So that's good news. I mean, that goes to show that here on the show we're really on top of our game here. We're following. We're heat seeking, and we're really good at finding the stocks that are boiling at those boiling points. And that's really what we want to get at, to a point where, you come on the show, you almost guaranteed to get a stock that's going to be up 20, 30, 50, 40%. You know what I'm saying? And I think we've kind of gotten there. We honestly have kind of gotten there where, you can come on this show and on the list, you can get a stock that either today, tomorrow, or within the week is going to get you a solid return. A solid return. All right? A good mix of OTC and NASDAQ Amex plays that'll generate, some green for you. All right? Yes, indeed. And I think that's a solid list for tomorrow and for the rest of the week, as long as, again, oil remains high, this rebound in gold is legit. I think we're going to see some things. We're going to see some things. All right? We're going to definitely see some things. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this show today. I think it was a really good show, really interactive. I wasn't sure. I was kind of surprised. I didn't really get too many calls today, but I mean, hey, you can't have calls, every day. It is what it is. Tomorrow we'll be back. I will be back here, hopefully with the name of the show. I'm trying to get a name, man, because I'm trying to, brand this and really take off with this. And really trying to do the Alex Jones thing, you know what I'm saying? Really trying to be the Rush Limbaugh of this stock shit. And I think that's where I want to take this. All right, that's where I want to take this. And we got the CEO. Well, let me not say his name yet. When he comes on the show, I'll announce him then. And it's a good solid OTC play. I'm really excited to have him on the show, and hopefully that happens this week. Because we really love it. The whole thing is that we don't show during the day. Most of you guys are at work. Obviously, most people who work at these companies, they want to go on during the day. But, look, can you come on after 8? Well, I'm with my family, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Give you a break. I know you got at least 10, 20 minutes to spare your boy. You know what I'm saying? So that's been a little bit of an issue. But appreciate you guys joining me here. Of course, all you guys watching. Always a great opportunity to join you guys in the chat room and see what you guys say. And people love it. So thank you guys again for joining me today on the show. Today, episode 82, 83 tomorrow. And I wish you guys really great trading tomorrow, man. Again, take advantage of these. Plot your charts. You got really great tickers to look at tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys hopefully with some good returns tomorrow. Yes, indeed. Ask for name suggestions on Twitter. Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask for suggestions on Twitter tomorrow throughout the day. Suggestions for the show. And something that I can brand. Of course, I got to look and make sure that nobody else has that shit. But nobody owns Stockwatch. Believe it or not, there's no trademark out there for Stockwatch. So I'm leaning towards Stockwatch, so we'll see. What's going on, Three Hooks? Thank you guys, everybody in the show. Donald Trump is not your president. Okay. That's funny, Tim. Tim licensed some. Isn't there a pitcher called Tim licensed? I think I had a game. MLB 2K something. Tim licensed him. That sounds familiar. It's like isn't that a pitcher or something like that? Named Tim licensed him. Anyway, thank you to all the people who are watching right now. Bill Betts, Bad Scientist. Evil RC, Nikhil, Ryan Gets It, Tyson Bats, Bill Betts, of course, Travi. Hey, join Travi and a lot of other people in the Discord chat room. Travi, if you can post that up one more time for people. Royal Lion, thank you for watching, man. Appreciate it. All the ladies who watch, G. Ryder, Matthew Williams, 3 hooks. All right, Mr. Lopez, everybody who watches the show makes it great. Thank you guys so much. Josiah Putrick, I hope I'm saying it right. I'm going to give Travi a second to post that link. If you guys want to continue that conversation, you can go into that chat room. And these guys, they go hard, man. They go hard until like 3 or 4 in the morning talking about stocks. So really, really knowledgeable people. If you just need that extra help, get yourself set up and really prepared. Go into the Discord chat room. And there it is. Click it, join those guys, and they'll be up all night. Trust me, all night. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Scotty boy, appreciate it, man. Peace to you as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care, everyone. Good night.